Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm going to try and start today with a different sentence than what I normally start with, because I always start with a sentence around, can you hear me? I'm hoping that you can. Let's have a see if I can find one here. It's coming through. Doesn't give you any warning. So it's lovely when you see people making comments in the community that you're part of. I think it's, oh, here we go, I can see, yeah, we're on loud and clear. Well, we're certainly on. Let me just have a listen. If I can hear. Gosh, I don't even know if I'm moving or not. So, happy Monday. Today, yeah, coming through, I can hear. So, today is health. That's our topic for Monday, is about health. And hopefully, as I can see, people are starting to make some comments on health and what health means, because health is one of those things that keeps on shifting, just like our very existence. We keep on moving and we keep on shifting. And this space is about being able to reflect upon things that maybe we've never really spoke about before with a lot of people or with other people. So I think health is one of those areas that we don't tend to maybe mention too much unless it's a case of we're actually feeling compromised in our area of health, and maybe we'll talk about the symptoms of what we've got. So I wanted to really look at the health of a bit broader than health, because in this community, we are all individuals and we're all individually doing our own thing, if you will. This space is about how do we come together? How do we really start connecting with each other and sharing the essence of who we are? We've got a long way to go, because many of us we're not used to working together. We're not used to coming together and holding space for each other. So I'm really encouraging people to do that in this community. And I know that everybody potentially is really busy in the mind, and maybe just double check. Maybe a lot of people are feeling like they're doing their bit in this time, and they're out there and they're posting and they're doing whatever they're doing, or they might be relaxing and really sitting back and just like, let's just shut out the world for a little bit. And in a way, I totally get that. This isn't a criticism on anybody, but there's a responsibility, I think, that many of us have never really thought about. This is a challenge. This conversation is going to be a challenge for many people, because many of us have not really thought about, well, actually, how do I relate to the rest of the world outside of me? What role do I play outside of my constraints of my work, my home, my environment, that little place? How do you expand out of that? Because we are all that we see and that we don't see. And so if we are just focused on ourselves and just what we're contributing individually, it's a very individual way of being. And we might have a small community, but this is about how do we fully expand out of ourselves? How do we do that? How do we really connect with humanity? And I say humanity because I know that we're all connected energetically, but how do we do that as energetic beings? How do we connect with each other at a very deep level? How do we do that? And the reason why I say that, let's just share, if we can share the screen, is because there's 10 key characteristics about our world, about our contribution to our world. And I'm hoping you're able to see the screen, because it always makes it easier when we can see the visuals, because I know some people are more visual in there, and I'm a visual person. So these 10 characteristics of a well-run and functioning community. So when I set this community up of ambassadors of change, the ambassadors of change are each of us. Each of us are ambassadors of change. Now, it could feel like this is going to be a huge uphill battle, because as we're going up this hill, we are addressing so many layers that this process is about how do we start shifting those layers? How do we start resetting and relearning from everything that we've been taught? How do we sit and have a conversation around all this? How do we do that? How do we start recognizing each other as human beings, spiritual beings having a human experience? And so in front of you, there is a community vision. And so when this strategy started coming to me, when these visions were coming to me, and these different words and different people would come into my life and contribute to this. So this isn't all been about Anthea Fenton. This is about many people, and this is the gift back. And I don't know if you can see the sun coming through, but it's been quite cloudy here today, and the sun's just peeping out. We're on the right track. So there are 10 characteristics of a well-run and functioning community. Now, I just invite you to close your eyes. Maybe it should be safe because we're all inside, so you're not driving. And just imagine these 10 characteristics of a well-run, functioning community. And when I say community, I mean community as in the whole globe is community, which is why it includes you. Because you could be that one person in a part of the world that really resonates with this and says, do you know what, I'm going to plant a seed and I'm going to be the ambassador of change right here, right now, in this space, and work out how we do this as a community. A learning community where people and groups gain knowledge, skills, and confidence. A fair and just community which recognises and celebrates diverse cultures. An active and empowered community with self-confidence and a clear identity. An influential community which has a strong voice in decisions which affect its interests. An economically strong community, creating income-generating opportunities and retaining a high proportion of its wealth. A caring community, providing good quality services relevant to its members' needs. A green community with a healthy and pleasant environment, conserving resources and encouraging awareness of environmental responsibility. A safe community where people do not fear crime, violence, or other hazards. A welcoming community which people like, feel happy about, and do not wish to leave. A lasting community which is well balanced and likely to survive. Whose roles and responsibilities are these? Where do you fit in? I'd like you to comment below or wherever you can on this video to highlight which number are you on here. It might be more than one. I know for me, I get really touched by this vision because it's as simple as this. This is the simplicity of it. I love the simplicity of it. But I think our world has been so complicated that we don't realise the simplicity. The simplicity is just right there. So there's a lot of things in there that really resonate with me. And I remember when I was planning to go to Ireland and do a talk in Waterford in 2018, which feels like a lifetime ago now. And I remember doing this plan and the intention, because the event was cancelled because of Storm Emma. So there was a massive snow event, and so 3 days lockdown. So lockdown again, and here we are again, lockdown. And I remember thinking there'd be an audience of maybe 200, 250 people. And it was about being able to give each person an activity to be able to really touch the hearts of everybody. And what I decided that I was going to do is that I'd taken each of these vision labels, these characteristics, and I put them onto a table, and each person would take one that would resonate with them. And we would have 10 areas where each group of people that resonated with each of the characteristics would actually sit and form. And maybe that's what I'm doing now, wanting to do online now, is to find those people, leaders, people that have got an opinion, that's what a leader is, to come together to start exploring these characteristics. But before we can get to the characteristics, we have to identify who are we. And so the characteristics are going to be discussed. Hi, thanks for joining me. They're going to be discussed, and for each person to go into a group, and for each of us to start working on what are these characteristics and what do they mean to each of us, to start breaking them down a little bit so that we can get meaning from them, because language is so complicated that it's about how do we relate to each other and get onto the same page because we understand each other. And so that was what the characteristics were about in terms of the key characteristics for Including You formula, if you will. So that was what the activity was going to be. And the intention was really for everybody to start getting onto the same page and start building confidence with each other. It's a real simple strategy, just building confidence in understanding and understanding and overstanding in terms of who we are and what we contribute to our world and our community vision. So I look forward to seeing what your characteristics are, and let's see if we can start identifying our tribes within this community and beyond, because this is about strengthening you in your leadership, in the work that you're doing with people and with community. Because as I've put in the description, health for me stands for helping everyone achieve love through hope. And hope is always a wishy-washy word. It's always kind of like, well, it's not quite there. But I think what hope means for me is love in action. It's about showing people that, the amount of people that have commented on, the private message to me, commented on here, how, they're enjoying what they're seeing in terms of what I'm doing here. And I'm encouraging everybody to take that next step of expressing, well, who are you? What is it what hope do you bring to humanity? Because it doesn't matter if hope is wishy-washy, it doesn't ever materialize into the vision that you've created. It's just taking those steps forward in your mind and in action just brings about a different experience. So I'm really encouraging you, to let go of ego that may say, oh, what do I know? And kind of like, well, what have I got to say? Just, we need to engage. We need to take action instead of being an armchair activist. So I'm just highlighting that, yeah, there's a lot going on, as we know right now. And yet, life beyond is also what we're referring to. So thank you so much for listening. Please do make your comments below in terms of what characteristics would you say your strength, what are you passionate about? This is about identifying our values. And many of us have not been taught, as we know, in the education system about what is it that you value, stripping it right back to its basics. What is it that you value? Because yesterday was the celebration of new birth. It was the birth, it was Easter, it was the birth of our Mother Earth, our Mother of creation, Mother God. That means that it's an opportunity to restart again. That's like a birthday. It's a birthday celebration. It's rebirthing. So what are you going to rebirth into this next phase of your life? And how's that included in our community, in our key characteristics of a well-run, functioning community? Because the key is within you. That's this key characteristics that are outside. It's about how do we match those to our inside. It's that infinity. So that's number 8. So it's kind of what's going on for you is being reflected out there. So if you can bring love here, and then we can reflect it out into the world in different projects and different just even different conversations, it's going to make a massive difference to our world. I thank you so much for listening. I'm going to press stop so that I can see if this work is on here. And hopefully tomorrow is going to be money again. So we're going to be talking about money, but actually we're probably going to be lifting it into resources. So we're shifting from money to resources. It's about how resourceful are you, and money is only one aspect of that. So I look forward to, I'm hoping actually I should be able to find the money solutions process so that we can start getting some activities going in here as well. So I thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and please do make your comments below, and yeah, I hope you're doing well. Bye bye for now.